Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to another travel vlog. This time, we're going to Interlaken, Switzerland. I have never been to Switzerland in my life. There's a lot of places I actually have never been in Europe, but we're slowly checking them off the list. We're gonna be there for 2 days. We're really excited. I was doing a bunch of research, watching a lot of YouTubes, TikToks, Instagram, you name it. I do know it's the shoulder season right now in Interlaken, so we already know that, we already planned for that, and we definitely plan on going back this summer, hopefully. But we decided to drive to Interlaken so we could bring Mr. Butterjokes with us. It's about a 4.5 hour drive from where we live. I'm super excited. We have a lot planned this weekend, some adventure activities, because Interlaken is like the place for outdoor adventure, adrenaline junkies. I'm not an adrenaline junkie.
Recreational enthusiasts.
This one is an adrenaline junkie, and he was very upset that the bungee jumping is closed until the spring summer season. So I told him we'll just have to go back and I'll film because I'm not partaking in that. Just dressed in sweatpants and stuff right now though, because we plan on getting to Switzerland around like, what, 8:30, 9:30 o'clock?
10:30.
10:30! So this is how we're traveling. But let's go. Let's have a great weekend in Interlaken. We just did one of the most American things, and we just went off on an exit and got McDonald's, because by the time we get to the hotel, we know the restaurant will be closed. We grubbing on some McD's. Got the McChicken nuggets and the fries. I think we finally got into Switzerland, guys. We finally made it to the hotel. It's about 11 o'clock at night. So we're gonna go to bed because I think we're gonna do a sunrise hike, and I'll show y'all the hotel tomorrow. Good morning, guys. We are running on very low sleep, but we wanted to do a sunrise hike and I'm hoping it goes well. It's like 5:13 in the morning right now. It's actually funny because the lady who was working the front desk who checked us in at like 11 o'clock last night, she leaned out the window and was like, "Excuse me, are you going hiking?" And we were like, "Yeah." She said, "Oh, but do you still want breakfast at 8:30? We're like, yeah, we'll be back." And apparently at the end she said, "You crazy man."
Yeah, she was talking. She's like, young man, excuse me. It's like, yeah. She's like, "You awake now?" It's like, yeah. She's like, "You come back 8:30 breakfast." Like, yeah. She's crazy man.
Well, we got a bit lost getting here, so we're probably gonna miss, well, we're not gonna miss the sunrise, but we just won't be at the top at sunrise, which is fine. We're learning. Plus, we plan on coming back here one day, but we're finally on the trail. Sometimes plans don't go as expected, and that's okay. The cable car to Hauptstrasse was closed because it's shoulder season, so we decided to hike instead. It's not a particularly difficult trail if you don't go all the way to the top, but let me tell you, starting so early in the morning before breakfast, that was a challenge. I'm still on my fitness journey, and let's just say cardio hasn't exactly been a priority lately, so this hike, it definitely tested me, but honestly, the peace and quiet made it worth it. We didn't run into a single person for almost an hour, and there was something really magical about having the trail all to ourselves. The forest felt so still, and every step brought us closer to those stunning views Hauptstrasse is known for. It was tough, sure, but those moments of solitude reminded me why I love adventures like this. We didn't make it to the peak, but it is absolutely beautiful where we are right now. But your girl needs some breakfast, and we're trying to plan our day because we have paragliding at 3. So we're trying to plan strategically. Unfortunately, we did get lost this morning, but we still enjoyed a beautiful view. We wrapped up the hike a little earlier than planned because we didn't want to miss our 8:30 breakfast at the hotel. I was so tired from a late night and early morning, so heading downhill felt like a much needed break. On the way down, we started seeing a few hikers, but it was still surprisingly quiet. And even though we had to park a bit farther from the trail entrance, the walk back was worth it. A peaceful river, ducks gliding along the water, felt like a little reward after the hike. Now we ended up staying at the Lakeview Hotel this time, and as the name suggests, the views were stunning if you got the right room, which we made sure to book. It wasn't the cleanest place I've stayed, but it was affordable and the woman who ran it was incredibly kind. Breakfast was simple but perfect after a morning hike. Fresh orange juice, lattes, and warm croissants for just 10 francs per person. A great deal for Switzerland. After that, we freshened up and set off to explore more of the town. Alright, we had a little coffee at the hotel, we freshened up after our hike, and now we're gonna go get some lunch and do some light shopping before we go paragliding. We headed into the main part of town where the shops, restaurants, and souvenirs are, but first we stopped at the park. Paragliders were landing right in the middle of it, and it was so fun to watch. After the park, we strolled through the streets of this bougie little town. Switzerland is known for its luxury, and it was definitely on display here. There were high-end watch boutiques, designer stores, and stunning window displays everywhere we turned. Even though I wasn't shopping for anything extravagant, it was so fun to browse and soak in the vibe of the area. Eventually, we ended up at Velo Cafe, which had amazing reviews online. The food and drinks were so good. I got avocado toast, and even though I completely forgot to record it before diving in, it was delicious. It was definitely on the pricier side, but the quality and the cozy upscale vibe of the cafe made it worth it. Well, really upset right now. They just canceled our paragliding because it's too windy, which is really unfortunate because earlier when we were walking around town and getting lunch, it was so gorgeous outside and there was no wind. But of course, now the wind has really picked up, and so I get it for safety and everything. But I was really looking forward to that on our trip. That was like the biggest thing we were doing on this trip. But I guess that's just a sign we're gonna have to come back and try again. There's been a lot of uh-ohs on this trip and obstacles, but it's still gorgeous here. So looks like we won't be going paragliding, but we'll find something else to do. Time to research. Google Maps just had us so stressed out. We're trying to come see the waterfalls. Where are we?
Lauterbrunnen.
And this is definitely a pedestrian place. It told us that we could keep going this one way.
There were street signs.
And it was a two-way road, guys, but there's no way it was a two-way road. Like, there was multiple times where we're like, what do we do? Because there was a car coming our way and we were trying to go this way. And there was nowhere to go. And so then, like, Google Maps was telling us to keep going straight, but then there was huge signs saying, like, cars can't come down here anymore. There was nowhere to really turn around. I just scooted down in the seat and just closed my eyes and was just praying Josh would figure it out.
I would cry.
We were like, after the paragliding got canceled, we said, okay, let's just go look at waterfalls. Like, we're tired because we did a 6 a.m. hike. It's been a long day. Let's just do something relaxing. That was the least relaxing thing of this whole trip. So now we finally parked in a parking lot and we're gonna go walk around and try to find some waterfalls. But yeah, so don't try to drive where Google Maps tries to tell you to drive. After a stressful time finding parking, we ended up at the Horner pub, which, fun fact, is the only pub in Lauterbrunnen. A big glass of beer was exactly what we needed to unwind and reset before heading back out. After the pub, we set off to find waterfalls, but honestly, it was a bit disappointing. There weren't as many as I expected, and the ones we saw were pretty small. The walk itself was gorgeous. Stunning mountain views, goats, cows, and even little farmer booths selling fresh cheese and jams. It's our last morning here, and I'm really gonna miss waking up to these views. And of course, the fresh croissants and coffee. There's just something about slow mornings in the mountains that hits different. But before we head home, we have one last adventure lined up. The top of Europe. started our journey to the top of Europe by driving up to Grindelwald, taking in the beautiful mountain scenery along the way. Since it's shoulder season, there was quite a bit of construction, but that didn't take away from how stunning this place is. To get to the top, we took the fastest route, a cable car followed by a train ride. This was both mine and Butter's first time in a cable car, and let's just say, I might be afraid of heights. The views were absolutely breathtaking, but I couldn't stop thinking about how high up we were dangling. Also, Interlaken is super dog friendly, so Butter was able to come with us. His cable car ride was free, but once we reached the next station, we had to pay 30 francs for his train ticket. You can't book dog tickets online, but there are machines at the station to grab one. Also, quick tip, don't let your dog sit in the seat. We learned that rule the hard way. On the train ride, there was a quick stop at a scenic lookout before continuing to the top. Once we arrived at 11,716 feet, the elevation definitely hit me. It was early in the morning, so clouds covered much of the view, making everything feel so mysterious. One of the coolest sights was the Sphinx Observatory, one of the highest altitude research stations in the world. I also spotted locks left behind by visitors, completely frozen in ice and snow. Standing up there, looking down into the endless clouds was both surreal and a little eerie, but absolutely worth it. We finally made it to the immersive area where we got to experience the history of the top of Europe in such a cool way. Literally. From interactive displays to incredible visuals, it was fascinating to learn how this place came to be. Then, we made our way to the Ice Palace. The entire place was carved from ice with stunning sculptures that made it feel like a winter wonderland. Josh, of course, was goofing around, and what I didn't catch on camera was him totally wiping out. So yeah, the floors are very slippery. We finally made it back from the top of Europe, and that was the show. That was the star of this weekend. By far, highly recommend. Yes, it is a tourist attraction. Yes, it is expensive, and if you can afford it, I definitely say to do it at least once because it was such a cool experience to be up there, to see everything. That was the highlight of our trip. I know we had a bunch of bumps and hurdles with the sunrise hike not working out the way we wanted to, and then our paragliding got canceled. But don't you worry, we're gonna find another chance to paraglide. But that definitely topped the trip, that made this trip. I highly recommend coming to Interlaken. But now we have about a 4.5 hour drive back home, and we gotta get ready for the rest of the week. Mr. Butter is definitely pooped as well. He's so tired. But he did so good at the top of Europe. I was really proud of him. But I hope you enjoyed my little vlog to Interlaken. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Love you guys. Bye. You're crazy.